Kia ora, and welcome to day 15 of MonthDone, and a month of mindful moments with tangling. Today's tangle is based on a pattern of a palm tree. There are over 2,500 different types of palm trees in the world, and they grow by adding leaves and then discarding them as they grow taller and taller, and it leaves the leaves with a very uneven look. This tangle is based on a palm, Corfia by Susan Yeo. And when a palm is grown, it's grown in a spiral formation. And because yesterday we finished off really in mid-air with Pikorori, I've decided to start with a spiral on the page. So we'll give ourselves an orb to base it from. Then I'm just going to draw some sprung leaves that grow out. Of course, with palms, they're not called leaves, they're called fronds, and they spiral out as they're growing. Sometimes they might be feathered, or sometimes they might be fan-shaped. And once we have a few fronds coming out, I'm then going to break them off, because as the next one grows up, it will grow out. And to make room for the next one up, the last one will break off, and then this begins to make the trunk of the palm. So I'm just going to break off in a jagged line and bring my fronds back into the center. I might just encourage a little bit of shading here with my pen. Just using the pen to just give myself a few more busy lines in the middle. And often as when it happens, the busy part of the centre can get a bit too busy, so I'm just going to use a little bit of black. I'm just going to give myself a little black centre in there, leaving a little bit of white highlight in the middle as well. But now we're going to do Corfia the way it heads off. We're going to do our palm trunk. And so from the blossomed version here, just somewhere take 2 frond lines in an opposite going out direction, and then break off your frond. Do 2 more lines, making it slightly thinner at the beginning and widening out, and then break off your frond. And head your way across your page with this fashion. Each one coming off underneath from drawing behind the previous one. Each of these fronds might be slightly different shape to the one you did before, and that's fine. Just with each one, let it break off with a jagged line. You can make your fronds a little bit more dense by drawing from behind of the previous frond, or you can make it a bit more leggy. If you want to go back in and fill in some extra fronds, you're of course most welcome to do so. Remember, each palm tree is a little bit different. whether it's been swaying in the wind or being changed by its neighbour plant. Each time just add a frond using the drawing behind technique. And then we might want to use our pen in the same way that we did when we were doing our blossom fronds, and just add a few more lines to help with the shading. Just as these plants produce one frond coming out from behind the previous one, we just want to use that shading for doing our shadow shading. And we also, do you remember this black orb that we did when we did a blossomed Corfia? Or perhaps add a few more little black blossom beads in and around your Corfia as it heads across your page. You'll note with each one, I'm just leaving a small bit of white, just as a little reflection in the black orb. Perhaps where two lines are a little bit messy and don't quite join up, you might want to add a little bit of a black orb on one of those two. There's no rhyme, no reason, no rules for where you pop your little black orbs. And then I talked about shadow shading. So just around that black orb, I'm just going to draw a bit of graphite. And then each time I've done a little bit of drawing behind, I'm just going to add some graphite to that too. It's made a little bit easier with those extra pen lines that you popped in to see where to add a bit of graphite. Of course, if you want to shade in a completely different way, you are most welcome to do so. But with the very angles here, you'll remember to note I'm holding my pencil quite flat, so I can push that point right in to the little angles that I've produced and the little angles behind the cut-offs. Grab your tortillon and gently pull the graphite just out a little bit. So whether your fronds are feathered or fan, they have a little spiral formation at the crown, and then we're going to head off down our trunk of Corfia. Today's prompt is noticing when you feel calm. I hope that you feel calm after you've finished each of these little prompts this month. But whenever it is, when you feel calm, make a note of it down here. And next time you're adding an enhancement, like a perf to your tangle, make sure you bring that calm back when you do. And hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow.